So hey guys, it's Ziant again, and while this video was going to be about the map design of open world games, I decided that I would talk about certain aspects of the single player first person shooter experience, because I just finished recording a session of Spec Ops The Line Let's Play, and they dealt with moral choice systems in a way that's very different from what I've seen before. When you go into a game like Infamous, you are given two sets of diametrically opposed choices to make, the good and the evil, and oftentimes you are rewarded for picking one side over the other and sticking to it. In Infamous, for example, the most powerful good aligned ability was the most powerful in that tier. And in many cases, the good option and the evil option were quite clearly defined. There was a right answer for one and a wrong answer for the other, and vice versa. And while you would make someone happy and someone mad with a system like that, you knew who you would make happy and who you would make mad, and what the general outcome would be. You would be given a new ability, the story would progress in a certain manner, you would get the raw dialogue options, and so forth. The problem arises when a game touts itself as being inspired by a book like Heart of Darkness. In this case, choices you make can never be so clear-cut. There's never a good answer to any question. Because in anything inspired by Heart of Darkness, every answer is wrong. What you as reader or what you as player need to figure out is which is the less wrong of the two answers. Done correctly, there isn't a less wrong answer. They are both equally disgusting. But the beauty of such things is that you have to make a choice. And the choice is something that, if it's not less wrong morally, it's something that's less wrong for you as an individual. Choices like these are ones that make you feel dirty, that make you literally want to take a shower or read a happy book after you've had time to process what exactly you've just done. And again, you're not going to make everyone happy with your decision, and done well, again, no one will really be happy with what you've done. Spec Ops The Line has two of these, leading up in something of a crescendo to one of the biggest holy crap moments that I've ever seen in a game. Without saying what exactly happens, I would compare this moment to the meeting with Andrew Ryan in BioShock, where your entire world is flipped upside down as a player of a video game. The comparison only goes so far, however, because in BioShock you were only doing what you think the game wanted you to do. The fact that Irrational plays with what it means to be a player in an interactive medium versus the actuality of what the player has been doing so far is what made that moment powerful. The difference between Spec Ops and BioShock is that in BioShock, the goal of the game, on the whole, is simply to escape. In Spec Ops, however, the goal quickly becomes to go as deep into the darkness as possible. Spec Ops' story is in some ways stronger than BioShock's because, while in BioShock the ending is determined by a good or bad moral choice system with very clear-cut results, Spec Ops gives you no right answers. It gives you no reward for one choice over the other, only this lingering feeling that what you've done is probably what you should have done in the first place. But it leaves this lingering doubt in your mind that, was I supposed to pull the trigger on that guy? Was I supposed to target this one person to save this group of people rather than this single individual? Initially, Spec Ops gave you no choice in the matter. You go in to rescue the 33rd and find out they've gone rogue. This is no secret. Eventually, as an American Special Ops soldier, you have to kill more American Special Ops soldiers. But as the crescendo peaks and survival becomes your main goal, but Jaeger realized that given the choice between the easy route and the hard route, 99% of players would choose the easy route. And while I myself also chose the easy route, so I don't know what the hard route is, I'm fairly certain the result would have been similar or the same. What really made that third and final decision so powerful is that the two before it, while they didn't have a quantifiable effect on the game, there was a qualitative effect. You knew who would be mad at you, how you might feel about something, and which choice you would rather have made every single time. Because in a standard military shooter, even one with multiple paths, the ending is always similar. Even when there are no right answers, the bad guys are still bad, the good guys are still good, and even if there's a betrayal, you probably saw it coming. Spec Ops' main argument, then, is who really is the good guy in a video game, especially a first-person shooter military game. Is it the player characters who are out to fight for freedom or rescue the damned 33rd or whoever it may be? Or are the villains of these games the ones you should be rooting for? The ones who want to create a new world? Because the world we currently live in is so perfect, right? As evil and twisted as some of the first-person shooter villains can be, they want to nuke New York, they want to nuke the entire United States, they want to nuke everyone and just turn the entire world into a sandbox. Spec Ops has single-handedly made me question every villain I've come across in a first-person shooter game. Because faced with such insurmountable horror, who is making the right choices? How can one person say, this is what we're supposed to be doing, when chaos and death and desolation surrounds us? And how exactly can we trust those in power to make the right decisions when they need to be made? Because as you, the player who is playing Captain Walker, has to make the hard choice between A and B, and you choose A, and everything you thought you were doing right in the mission turns out to be completely wrong. Suddenly, the great American hero who is the Delta operator, or the SAS operative, or whoever it is no longer the hero. They are in fact the cause of the disaster. And because video games are an interactive experience, this feeling of being the cause is real. You made the choice to do A rather than B, and it is your fault that the consequences of A happened. But in the end, the real genius of Spec Ops' story, if not the gameplay mechanics, is how it makes you feel almost justified in having done A. Having not finished the game, I can't say for certain, but I think this high-low point of Spec Ops The Line is as good as it's going to get, and the story can only get worse from here, simply because now the story is no longer the player's own, it is Captain Walker's story. While you made the choice to do A, he now has to live with the consequences of it. In a game like Call of Duty or Battlefield with a single-player experience where you, the player, will only save the world rather than try to destroy it, the consequences are uplifting, they are empowering things, but are all in the end unrealistic. While I will never make the claim that Spec Ops The Line is the most realistic video game ever made, it tries, and I think it succeeds in capturing the true horror of war rather than its glorification.